There are three things that we must do to gain the leading edge. All right? The first one we find in Matthew chapter 8. Matthew chapter 8. You can go ahead and put your finger about verse 8. If you look at the chapter as a whole, you'll find out that the entire chapter has to deal with one subject, and one subject only. It has to deal with authority. Look at the chapter. We find this story stuck here. And for the most part, theologians have taken this story apart from the rest of the chapter, and we have taken this story as, oh, Jesus doesn't have any money. Because what happens is a certain scribe came to him and looked at him and said, "Teacher, I'll follow you." And Jesus looks at him and says, "Foxes have holes, birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." Poor Jesus. He doesn't even have a house to stay in. Now let's think about that for a second before we move on. The whole chapter is about what? Authority. So why, in the middle of a chapter about authority, are we going to talk about Jesus' poverty? It doesn't make sense. That isn't what he was saying. What he was saying, the guy said, "Teacher, I'll follow you." Jesus was saying, "I know what you're saying, but I can see past your words to your heart." And he said, "Listen, foxes have holes. You go to a foxhole, that fox is the authority of that hole. You don't believe me? Stick your arm in it. Guarantee you'll come out before he will. Birds of the air have nests. Who is the authority in a bird's nest?" When I was younger, I was standing outside, did not understand that there was a nest in the tree that I was standing under, and the nest in the tree had eggs in it. Did not know it. I'm innocent, just standing there, till all of a sudden Mama Bird decides she's going to start taking chunks out of my head. She was the authority. I moved. I guarantee it. But the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his headship, his authority. We are the body of Christ. Jesus is the head. He is the authority. God said, "I'll follow you wherever you go." Jesus said, "Listen, I know what you're saying." How many of you know people will say a lot of stuff that just don't flesh out? Listen, if you don't believe it, get into ministry. Folks will tell you, "Oh, I'm called to you. I'm with you all the way," to the first sign of trouble hits, or the first time you say something they disagree with, and then all of a sudden, that is the worst pastor I have ever in my life. He don't like people. He can't stand people. He hates people. Well, if I didn't like people, why would I be doing what I do? Come on. Jesus said, "I know what you're saying, but I see your heart. And I'm here to tell you, you can come with me if you want, but I'm not giving you my authority." Now watch, next statement, verse 21. Then another of his disciples said to him, "Lord, let me first go and bury my father." And Jesus said, "Follow me and let the dead bury their own dead." That's kind of heartless, ain't it? Come on, your parent just died. All you want to do is attend the funeral. And your boss looks at you and says, "Nope, we got a meeting in 10 minutes. You follow me to the meeting and let the rest of your family bury your father." That just seems kind of heartless, doesn't it? Do you know what Jesus was actually saying? He said, "You will never apprehend your future clinging to your past. You will never become who you are designed to be if you are constantly hung up with what you used to be." Number one, first thing that you got to do to gain the leader's edge is you must focus the majority of your efforts on the future. We as people get hung up either in the pain of our past, or our present gets overshadowed by the glory of our past. But either way, for the most part, people never leave the past. They are constantly in the present trying to drag their past forward. Well, I had a bad past. I ain't trying to drag it forward. Every time you rehash it, you are dragging it forward. I just want to let go of my past. Then stop talking about it. Every time you bring it back up, you are dragging that event back into your present. And that is what we do every day of our lives. If we have had a bad past, every time we rehash it, every time we go back over it, every time we lay in a bathtub and cry over it, we are dragging that past into our present. And as long as you've got your hands in your past, you will never move past your present to your future. You must, to gain the leading edge, you must continually focus your efforts on the future. All right? Number 2, Matthew chapter 16. Jesus comes to his disciples and says, "Who do men say that I am?" They said, "Some say Elijah, some say John the Baptist, one of the prophets." He said, "Who do you say?" Peter jumps up. "You're the Christ, the Son of the living God." Jesus said, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. I say to you, you're Peter. On this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. I will give you the keys to the kingdom. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth shall be loose in heaven." Good day for Peter, right? Verse 21. From that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and chief priests and scribes and be killed and raised the third day. Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. Now, Jesus just told Peter, "Great day, Peter. You gained it. You know. You heard from God. You got the revelation. Bam, you are it today." He turns around and looks at Peter. Peter says, "Far be it from you, Lord, this shall not happen to you." He said, "You're the best pastor I've ever had. I ain't letting you go." What did Jesus say? "Get behind me, Satan." That just eliminated the good day. "For you are not mindful of the things of God, but the things of men." Number 2, we must understand and become comfortable with change. And number 3 was understand who you are and what your leadership style is. Everybody has a leadership style. We have doers, we have delegators. Okay? We got folks who'll do everything. It doesn't matter if they got 1,000 volunteers, they still gonna do it. Then you got delegators. They get a job, first thing they do is find 15 people to split that job between. And then those 15 people walk out and they doing all the work, and this person getting all the credit. Come on. Every doer must learn what it means to delegate. Every delegator must learn what it means to do. Okay?